Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 10th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. Powell's actually speaking right now from my understanding, so I don't think it's a good time to enter any trades. But I will be marking up, certain entries if I see anything come up. So just give me a few moments to finish setting this room up real quick, and then we will get started shortly with our analysis for today. All right, let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. Solid. Got that link sent out right there. Looks like people are starting to make their way in. All right, cool. All right. So I'll give a few moments for people to make their way in. If you guys are not aware, Powell is actually speaking right now, so it's not really a good time to enter any trades at the moment. But we will see how everything's moving before we enter anything, too risky. So good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, January 10th. It is 6:25 right now. Market's going to open in about 5 minutes. So I'll get a few moments for people to get in here. So let's take a look at the higher time frames real quick. Right here on the 10-minute, price is currently bullish. 30-minute over here, price is bearish. And the 1 hour over here, price is actually neutral. So it does not look like we're going to have a breakout 2.0 for the day because there's no alignment of trend. If you guys can see over here, breakout 2.0. First, you need to confirm the overall trend on the 10-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour. Since there's no trend there, there's not going to be any entry for the breakout 2.0 today, unfortunately. Yeah, and Powell's speaking right now too, so it's not a good time to enter any trades. So no breakout for today. We'll see once the market stabilizes where direction will be going, and then from there we'll start looking for some scalps. Looking over here on the shorter time frames, the 10 minutes currently it was bearish. It just turned bullish recently when Powell started speaking here at 6 o'clock. Same here on the 5-minute. It just turned bullish as well. It was bearish on all time frames, but it just started turning bullish recently. So we need to see if this is going to hold. If this holds and it confirms that it's going to stay going up, then from that point we will decide whether we want to look for some buys here or for some sells. But at the moment, we don't have a confirmation, so there's nothing for us to really look at right now specifically. Let's see who's here so far. Hey, Stephen. Morning. Welcome back. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Peter. Morning, Van Hartwig. Morning, Maddie. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Søren. Morning, everybody. So if you guys are just getting here, I just mentioned that there is not going to be a breakout 2.0 because there's no overall direction to trend. The 1 hour here is neutral. 30-minute here is still bearish, and the 10-minute over here just turned bullish. It was bearish and it just turned bullish recently when Powell started speaking. Powell's speaking right now. He started speaking at around 6, so he's probably still speaking at the moment, which is not a good time to enter any trades because a lot can happen depending on what he announces during his speech. So let me just check the calendar real quick. I think that was the only news from today. Yeah, so Powell over here started speaking at 6 o'clock. We have news at 7. And then we have tentative news, IVD, TIPP, economic optimism later today. So let me go over here real quick. The markup news at 7 o'clock. And we will see where things end up going as we continue along with the analysis for today. It's 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. All right. Hey, Kay, how's it going? Morning. Morning, David. Morning, Gary. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So market is opening in about 2 minutes. As I mentioned, Powell is speaking right now, so it's not necessarily a good time to look for any entries. We don't have a confirmation of direction yet. So once we get a confirmation if price is going to continue to the upside, then we can start looking for some buys. But until then, we're going to wait a little bit because the 10-minute and the 5-minute here hasn't confirmed yet. Price did shift to the upside, but we need to see if this holds or if it swings back below for correction. So we'll see what happens. Market is opening in about 2 minutes though. Saw that some of you guys here took some pre-market trades. Christian over here marked this up. He saw a nice pre-market move here for the momentum scalp variation. He didn't take it, but he did mark it up. It was a good entry. And then also Patricia over here sent in some profit. She locked in a total profit of 8,020 pre-market. Nice work, Patricia. Like right before Powell started speaking, she took one trade here at 6 o'clock and then she pulled out. But all of her pre-market trades right here before Powell started speaking were pretty nice. So great work right there, Patricia. All right, so we'll see what happens now. Market is opening in about 40 seconds. AT has gone. All right, guys. So if this continues to be bullish, then we'll start looking for some buys. However, at the moment, we just don't have anything for that right now. But we do have a temporary bullish trend here on the 10, temporary bullish trend here on the 5, but it looks like it is establishing. Also, we do have bullish momentum here on the 5 and 10. So if that's the case, then we will probably be looking for some buys here as price continues to, obviously move along. So I'll put the requirements over here. Everything here is going to come in order. We have the momentum scalp failure, which is typically going to be the first entry that comes up. Momentum scalp variation, which is typically the second trade that comes up. And then lastly, the regular momentum scalp that comes up right after. So 3 different strategies here that we're applying on the live session. These are the main strategies we're looking at. Price is right in between all of these sessions though, so it's not really a good time to enter new trades anyways. It's a complete red zone at the moment. So although we don't have an overall bias over here for the breakout 2.0, the entry technically would have been a buy if everything did line up. Reason for that is because we have a bullish momentum here. So technically the entry here would have been a buy. I'm not in this position here, so don't enter this here. I'm just going to mark it up and we'll follow it to see where price ends up going. But if we were to take this trade, this would have been the setup here, would have been for a buy, because we currently have a temporary bullish bias. You can see here on the 1 hour, it turned bullish just recently on this candle. Same with the 30-minute over here. Trend meter is red, but price is above the pivots. And the 10-minute over here was bullish as well. So although this isn't an entry, and you can see it's not a very clean entry at all, this technically would have been the entry if we did have an overall bullish bias, but we did not have that. So there's no actual breakout 2.0 right now. This is just a speculative entry if you were going to apply the strategy without the trend. I'm not in this position. It's not going to count. We're just going to mark it up. We're going to see if it plays out as the market moves for today. Pretty big move though. It's 1,500 pips. So we'll see if this, I think this is too big of a TP stop loss. It probably have to be 1,000 because the range is not really that wide. Because midnight was right here and it did drop right here and push up at 6 o'clock, but the real range is just right down the middle right here from like midnight up until maybe this here. All right, looking over here at the regular breakout, we don't really apply the regular breakout anymore, but the regular breakout would be a buy here as well. So those two just would have aligned together. Risky entry though. It's not one I'd take. but typically these two here are both bullish. So breakout would have been, regular breakout would have been a buy, and the breakout 2.0 would have been a buy right here as well. It's a shame. It would have been a good entry, but we just couldn't take it because there's no overall direction of trend. So we'll follow it. Not in the position. It's not going to count as an entry at all by any means. But we will, we'll just follow it. We'll follow it and see where it goes. If it continues to be bullish right here, then it looks like we'll start looking for some buys, because we do have a bullish trend here on the 10, a bullish trend on the 5-minute, and the 1 minute over here is also bullish as well. But you guys can see that it's not really a smooth moving entry. If we were to take it, there goes a breakout, still pushing up, but it's not going to count. So this trade's not going to count. Just marking it up to follow. And then same with the breakout 2.0 without trend. So if you guys remembered, we marked up two different types of applying that strategy. There was a breakout 2.0 with trend, and then breakout 2.0 without trend. They both work fine, but you know, obviously I want something that's more accurate. So that's why I'm sticking with the trend versus no trend. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on my alerts so that we can know when stuff here comes up. All right, so price is pushing around right here. Still nothing for us to take, but we are starting to confirm a bullish direction here. 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute here is bullish. So if I get a momentum scalp failure here, I'm probably going to skip the first one. I'm not going to take the initial entry, and then I'll probably hop in on one of the following ones, either momentum scalp variation or momentum scalp, because the movement right now is just a little too it's a little too choppy for me. Also, the TP stop loss that we're using for the moment is going to be 250, 500. We've adjusted it just for now because the volatility is extra high. So just for the time being, we are using the higher TP stop loss for our entries here. And if, you know, the market starts to slow down, then we'll change it back to the old numbers. But for right now, we're using 250, 500. I mean, you guys can use the old numbers if you like. It's just really up to your preference. I know some of you guys don't like holding on to trades for that long, so it's just up to you guys. Just update this since that's kind of what we're focusing on for the time being. All right, so the regular breakout here would have hit TP if you guys took it. Again, we're not going to count that trade. We're just following it to see where price goes. And now if we get a retracement, that's where we'll have the entry for either the momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, or regular momentum scalp. All right, solid. So the breakout 2.0 here would have hit full TP if we were applying it without the trend. And then the regular breakout over here also would have hit. So it would have been a good entry. I mean, the only problem here is that Powell is speaking, so that's kind of what screwed it up for us. But yeah, these two right here would have hit if we were to take them. So unfortunately, you know, Powell had to kind of push price around, but it's better to be safe than sorry taking these trades here anyways. So full TP on that, full TP on that. What we're going to be looking for next is we're going to be looking for the retracement. So the next step here is I'm looking for price to retrace down. As price pushed up, looking for it to retrace down, and as price continues up, this is where I'm going to be looking for entry. But we do need that retracement. It's going to be very key. Steven's asking, Sean, I can use 5 lot for next entry. No, the stop loss is 500 pips right now, Steven. So you got to lower your lot size. So I'm risking 3,000 per trade. So I'm using a 60 lot, so you can use a 30 lot. You can use half of what I'm using. You're on a 100K account, right, Steven? Yeah, so I'm using a 60, so you can use a 30. At each trade, we're risking 1.5%. So you should be fine using a 30 lot. Because the risk to reward now is 2-to-1 since we're doing a 25-50 split. So you have a better risk to reward here. You can risk a little more. But yeah, it's up to you. It's your preference, Steven. If you want to use a 30 or if you want to use a 25, it's up to you, whichever one you want to use. 25 will be safer. You'll have less risk. If signals are called, they're being called in the announcements. Well, they're being called in all the channels. So any of the premium groups, that's where the signals are being called. Typically, Maddie would be calling the breakout 2.0 entry, which was this one over here, but we didn't call it because there's no actual entry for this. The first requirement wasn't met, but they're called in all the premium groups if and when they happen. The Forex market here isn't really moving smoothly. As you guys can see, everything's kind of going sideways. So we haven't really had any Forex signals for this year so far. This right here, I was going to call this, but I'm glad I did it because you can see that price isn't really moving directional. Even this one right here, right? I marked up trades here, but I didn't call any of them because they didn't look like good entries. And lo and behold, they all would have lost. So good thing that we didn't take those trades there. The Forex market just hasn't really picked up yet. It's still early in the year. So the volatility is not really moving well. It's just going sideways for the moment. So yeah, if we do have any Forex signals, it will be called in the in basically all of the groups. We just haven't had anything yet. So you're not missing anything at the moment. Patricia over here took the breakout. Nice work, Patricia. So she actually took the breakout, even though it wasn't official, and she locked in a total profit of 3,165. Nice work, Patricia. Solid, yeah. So you guys can see people are still taking trades off my analysis, even though I'm not taking them and they're unofficial. So it's really up to your preference if you guys want to take these breakouts or not. I'm not going to take them because you guys know that I'm very risk averse and I don't take trades that are like too risky. So if I don't think they're safe trades, I'm not going to take them. But if you guys want to take them yourself, you're more than welcome to do whatever you like with your account. I prefer to just wait for the more quality entries. Now that price is kind of retracing down a little bit, we might be getting an entry here for a possible momentum scalp failure. So we're looking over here for a sell signal, which is going to be considered a retracement move. Once we have that retracement, we will be looking for volume here to be below average. So let's start off with the momentum scalp failure because this is going to be the first one that we're going to be applying. For all these strategies here, you want to confirm the overall trend. So looking over here on the 5-minute, you can see price is bullish because price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, and the pivots are angling up. We have the same exact thing here on the 10-minute. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, and pivots are angling up. Lastly, here on the 1-minute, we have the same exact thing, right? Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, and the pivots are angling up. So once you have that confirmed, you can see that we currently have an overall trend that is bullish. Looking over at momentum scalp, you want to make sure that there's momentum on the 10-minute, 5-minute, and 1-minute time frames. Looking over here on the 10-minute, you can see that we do have a bullish buy signal right here. We also have the same bullish buy signal on the 5. So with that said, we've confirmed bullish momentum on both time frames. The way that price is currently moving right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be taking the momentum scalp failure because you can see that price is way overextended. Price is pushed up very heavily from when Powell started speaking here at 6 o'clock. So Powell started speaking right here at 6 o'clock. And price is pretty much pushed well over 2,000 pips without retracement. So I'm probably going to sit out on this momentum scalp failure first. I'll let this play out. And then once it plays out, I'll probably enter on one of these other entries that are usually following, which is typically going to be the momentum scalp variation or momentum scalp right after. So this is just going to be the tester move. If you guys want to take it, I'll mark it up for you guys, but I'll probably hold off on it initially. I'll let you guys know if I do decide to take it, but I think I'm going to hold off on it initially. We also got to check the volume over here too. If the volume's too high, you can't take it because the volume needs to be below average. Hey Brock, how's it going? Brock said today I got myself whipped, traded Asia, big mistake. I'll be back up soon at certain, just not today. Yeah, no, it's all good, Brock. It's it happens. I mean, it was pretty risky, I think, trading pre-market and even Asia session because a lot of people are preparing for Powell to speak. So I had a feeling prices can be bullish. Um, I'm sure Powell had good things to say just to kick off the year, right? Get people on a good mood, hoping that there's no recession happening. But I'm pretty sure it's still going to happen. Anyways, if we get a sell signal right here, guys, the volume is above average almost. You can see this bar right here is going above the and there's no signal there. So we'll see how much this pushes around. Basically, all we're looking for here is we're looking for a sell signal. So once we get a sell signal here, we can determine whether it's going to, satisfy the requirements here for momentum scalp failure. We already have requirement 1 minute. We now need to look for the retracement momentum signal on the 1 minute. So once we get a sell signal here against the trend, we just need to look to make sure that volume is below average. If we have that there, then this will technically be an entry for a momentum scalp failure. Let's see. Steven's asking, what's your thought on crude oil? I inserted buy in my personal, not FTMO. So what's the symbol for US oil that you're using? Steven. I don't think it's called WTI crude on here. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know what the actual, because if you look here, it doesn't come up on WTI crude. I think it's like US oil or yeah, it's oil. I'll look it up in a little bit once we're done looking for entries here, Steven, because we're focused on US30 right now. So I'm not really taking any questions for any other assets at the moment. Yeah, so I'll check that out a little later. I can check the futures over here. I'll just pull it up over here real quick. Let's see. These are oil futures. I'll just take a quick glance. All right, quick glance here. It's pretty bullish. So I'm hoping that you're in a buy, but everything here is bullish. 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute bullish. Are you in it for a short-term move or are you looking for a long-term move? Because if you are, you got to look on the higher time frames. iPhone's asking, what are the settings for the volume indicator? They're all default settings. So all default settings, all you have to do is turn on the moving average, but everything else is pretty much default. So you just turn it, typically this will be off. You just turn that on and that's all that you change there. All right, so we have a possible entry right here for a momentum scalp failure, guys. Again, I'm not looking to necessarily take this right away because price is due for retracement. So I'm not really looking to take this here. I'll follow it. If it closes properly, if the volume here is below average, then this will technically be a momentum scalp failure, but I'm not going to be looking to take it myself. I'll let this one pass and then I'll move on to the next one. Like for example, the momentum scalp variation that will typically happen after. I don't think this will close proper though, because the volume here is already above average. So volume down here is above average. It's not going to fit criteria here for the momentum scalp failure. Yeah, you want to be careful taking any entries right now because price is due for retracement. It's pushed up over 2,000 pips. It's due to come back down before it does continue back up, if it does continue back up. Okay, so no momentum scalp failure here because the volume was above average. Here goes a retracement that I was referring to. All right, so we just gotta wait. I mean, this is just gonna be a game of patience, guys. Now we're just gonna confirm if price is going to correct back down or if it's going to continue back up. As you can see over here on the higher time frames, price is kind of iffy here on the 10. Price just came down super heavy on this one candle. This candle right now is well over 1,000 pips, huge retracement. Same with the 5-minute over here. Price is currently at the sessions. So we'll see how price reacts to the sessions right here. This right here would technically be a, actually, no, I didn't close above the pivots. So here's one thing to look out for. If price closes above the pivots, then this would technically be a momentum scalp variation. But as you guys can see from the trifecta over here, they're not coming in order. Like whenever I enter these trades, I want them to come in order. I typically want the momentum scalp failure to come first, and then I want the momentum scalp variation to come up after, and then the momentum scalp to come up right after that. So although we don't have a momentum scalp failure right here, if this candle does close back above the pivots, it might technically be a momentum scalp variation. Just got to make sure that volume is on point here. If the volume is below average, it's probably not going to hold if it continues to push up. So just got to be patient, guys, waiting for this to play out here, obviously. Let's see, Steven's entry was over here. His TP is 80.74. So what made you come up with that TP, Steven? Just curious. Did you just take this at random, or are you in another signal group? Because I know you're in a lot of signal groups, so I just kind of want to understand your logic behind why you took this here. Because that's a pretty big move, 80 for oil here. You're probably on the higher time frames, and so I need to figure out whether you're scalping this, if you're taking it on the higher time frames. It seems like you're trading it on the higher time frames, so I might have to go over here on the bigger ones. Yeah, your move is like really big, Steven. So it looks like you're like in a swing trade, because your target's like way up here. So you got a long way to go. Oh man, good luck, Steven. Steven said this is from another signal group. This group I joined in the past. Yeah. I mean, good luck on that move, Steven. I don't know if it'll hold up, but because looking here on the higher time frame, Steven, it's actually bearish. So I wouldn't actually take a buy here. If you were scalping, then a buy would have been okay. But on the higher time frames here, the 8 hours bearish, 4 hours bearish, 1 hour is neutral right here. I mean, not that price can't shift to the upside, but it's pretty much bearish on every higher time frame here. So it's not really looking like it's going to continue in that direction. You know, I'll probably check this over here on the I mean, you guys should not really rely on signals unless like you're sure that it's like reliable, right? I know you like to take signals, Steven, so I'm not going to knock you on that because that's just what you like to do. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's not really looking like it's going to be bullish here. Well, I mean, at least not enough to reach your TP, because your TP is such a far TP. You're going for 80. So I don't know where your entry point came in from, but that's a long way to go. Yeah, Desil said, take Sean's signal. They almost never hit stop loss. Yeah. So I will see, Steven. I don't want to knock your trade. If it hits, great, but I'd be a little wary because everything here is bearish. So with everything being bearish, I personally wouldn't have taken a buy there. But it is what it is. We'll see where it goes. So if you want to keep updated on that, Steven, you can ask me tomorrow. I can reanalyze it for you tomorrow. But right now, it's bearish to me. So it doesn't look like a good buy here at all for US oil. So let's see, when did the oil news come out? There's crude oil inventories tomorrow at 7:30, Steven. So your entry might move tomorrow at 7:30 because we have news for oil tomorrow. So hopefully that pushes straight to your TP if it's good. If not, then, I might go a little deeper to the bottom, but we'll see. Your stop loss is 73 point. You're like really close to stop loss then. Yeah, because your stop loss isn't right here. Yeah, you don't have a long way till your stop loss, Steven. Well, anyways, good luck with your trade. Tomorrow we can reanalyze it, but right now it's bearish. So price might get close to your stop loss if it continues to drop from this point. But yeah, again, I don't want to jinx your trade. So I'll leave it as is. And we can analyze it again tomorrow or later if it continues to move. Yeah, no problem, Steven. Yeah, whenever you take these entries, guys, or whenever you guys take signals at all in general, you should at least analyze it yourself to see if your analysis lines up with it. If the signal lines up and you think it's a good trade, then great, go ahead and take it. But you got to make sure that you actually analyze it yourself to make sure that it's solid. So there's an entry right here for a momentum scalp variation. I think the candle's too big though. Yeah, the candle's way too big. So this is what a TP stop loss would be. This would be a momentum scalp variation and a momentum scalp entry. It's also at the sessions right here. So it's going to violate one of the red flags, not an entry I would personally take myself, but I will mark it up and we'll follow it to see where price ends up going. It's just a huge red flag there. I'll put up the red flags. So here are the red flags when to avoid trades. When price is near sessions, price is obviously touching the Asia high right here. Also, the candle prior to entry is too large. It's way too big. It's just not a good entry to take. So I'm not in this position here. I mean, we could follow it and see where it goes, but I'm not in this position. I don't plan on taking it. So red flags when to avoid trades. 2 red flags here met. Price is near the sessions, and then also candle prior to entry is too large. So the problem with candle prior to entry being too large is that if it retraces back to the full candle, it could stop you out before it hits your TP. So not in that position there. I mean, it looks like it could have been a good entry if it met criteria, but it did not meet my criteria here with regard to red flags. So it's fine. If that's the case, then, we'll continue looking for more entries following this. But this here would be an entry for these 2 strategies here. It'd be an entry for momentum scalp variation, and then also an entry for the momentum scalp. Looking over here, we still have a bullish trend, bullish momentum. And you can see how price is starting to dump here because it's just not a good entry. The candle here is too big, so it's going to have to retrace down a bit before it comes back up. And then we also have news right here at 7 o'clock, like Maddie mentioned. So looks like today is just going to be, yesterday was a great day. We had so many trades yesterday that I think today is just going to be one of those days where we're going to get a lot of choppy movements. I think we'll eventually get at least 1 entry, but I think price will bounce around a bit before we get to that point. So just following this here, just mark it up so that you guys can follow it. Like, as I mentioned, I'll mark up entries whenever they come up, but I'm not necessarily going to take all of them if they don't meet my criteria. So if you guys want to take it at your own risk, you guys are more than welcome. But I do recommend just sticking to the trades that I'm actually taking so that you guys can have the highest probability entries during these sessions. You can see right there, it got really close to TP and then it came right back down. You're going to get a lot of this choppy movement as price continues to bounce around. What I'll be looking for here is if we get a second entry. So for example, we have the entry here. It's already pretty much aligned with all of the strategies. The next strategy that we'll be looking for is going to be another momentum scalp failure. So if we get this right here, then I'll probably enter that next one if it does come up. But we do have news coming up here at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock news is going to be the it's going to be the final wholesale inventories. Low impact, but it's still going to affect the market. So I'm not looking to take anything too risky at that moment. Yes, we have news at 7, wholesale inventories, and then IBD, TIPP, economic optimism. So they're both medium impact right here. They're going to be directly affecting the US economy. So you definitely want to be careful with taking the entries there because it just might spike price one way or the other. So again, just a reminder, guys, I'm not in this position here. I just marked it up for you guys so that you guys can follow it, but it did not meet criteria because of the red flags here. You can see where price is starting to drop super heavily. This is exactly why I would have avoided this trade because one of the red flags were met, or 2 of them. So yeah, guys, just a moment of of patience here. Just got to wait for this to come up. News is coming up in 3 minutes. I mean, if news is good, it might just spike it right through TP. But I'm not looking to take anything at chance. I want to take things when I'm for sure that it's going to hit my TP. So I'm not looking to take anything at the moment. Lots of choppiness right now. Higher time frames over here. Everything's still pretty much trying to attempt to swing to the bullish confirmation. So 30-minute over here is still bearish, but it's starting to shift to the upside. Yeah, no, it looks fine. All right. News is coming up in about 1:40, guys. So just gotta wait for that to play out. So here goes the momentum scalp variation, and the momentum scalp looks like it's almost at TP. Not gonna hop into this because we have news coming up right here in about a minute. I think when this news event happens, it's either going to spike the TP or it's going to pull right back down. So you're basically gambling at that point. You don't want to trade when news is happening because a lot can happen. Camo said Powell speaks in 3 minutes. Powell actually spoke an hour ago, Camo. So he might be done speaking already. Is he speaking again? He spoke at 6 o'clock. It's about to be 7. So he's been speaking for like an hour now. He spoke through pre-market. And this is exactly why you want to take a trade at this moment. Sorry. So what I'm gonna do here is or actually it won't matter because we're not taking any entries at the moment. We got news coming up here at 7, but this is an example why I wouldn't have taken this trade, right? I've seen these patterns play out a lot of times. Whenever these red flags are met, it's not a good entry because you really don't know where price is going to go. And you're kind of gambling at that moment, especially if you have news coming up right here at 7. So I'm really glad that we didn't take this trade here because I would hate to be in drawdown right before news. News is gonna come up in about 20 seconds. Yeah, Camo. So if you remember, the last time we discussed, I mentioned that, pre-market, I go over news and I mark it up on my chart. So news is right here at 7 o'clock. And then Powell started speaking over here at 6. We mark it up as a news price because it wasn't really news price. It was just him speaking. But yeah, he did speak, or he started speaking way earlier. I'm gonna go and just clean this up right here on the 10-minute. All right, guys, here is the news candle right here. We got open price right there. As I mentioned, guys, I'm not in any positions right now, so you guys are not missing out on anything. We are just waiting for something here to play out. So we have a couple of profits here from Deswell. Let's see, Deswell just posted his profits. He locked in a total profit of 2,469 for the day. Looks like he was trading NASDAQ on open, did pretty good. And then he took a sell here for US30, locked in a total profit of 2,469 for the day. Nice work, Deswell. Yeah, great work right there. All right, so I'm just going to clean this up for 1 second, guys. Right here would have been considered a momentum scalp failure. So I'll just mark that up for you guys down here. It's just a better entry point from like what was currently running up here. So this here would technically be a momentum scalp failure, but it's right at news price. So unfortunately, not one that we could take there. There was a buy signal right here, or sorry, a sell signal, and the volume was below average. But again, as you guys can see, it's at news price, which is one of the red flags. Red flags went to avoid trades when price is near news price, which is this pink line right here. So this pink line right here is news. This purple line is the Asia high. This blue line is opening price. This green line is the New York low, and this purple line down here is the Asia low. So If this candle here closes right here, this will technically be a momentum scalp variation. We can't take it though because it's right at news price. So it's also going to hit one of the criteria here when to avoid trades. And this market today is just really messy. There's no clean entries here or like anything for us to take like in specific. Everything here is still bullish though. So the 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, and the 1 minute here is bullish. So we're still technically looking for for buys. However, there's no confirmation of entries just yet. You have a pending signal over here on the 5. So if this here closes with the sell signal, then everything's going to have to start back over because we need everything here to confirm. So if this here doesn't close, if here closes with a sell signal, then the momentum scalps will no longer be valid because we currently have the overall trend of bullish. Momentum on the 10 is bullish, but the momentum here on the 5 is no longer bullish. So if that's the case, then we got to wait for that actual momentum signal to come up before we can start looking for entries. So this 5 minute candle here has about 1:35 left on it. So, I mean, this can easily shift back up in the next minute or two, or if it stays below, then unfortunately, this is going to invalidate the confirmations here for a overall bullish bias. And we're just gonna have to wait for that to actually confirm before we look for some more entries. I mean, it wouldn't really matter. It's not in a good area right now. We have news price right here. So this is a red flag. If price touches it, we can take an entry. And then also we have the sessions below here as well. So we'll see where this goes. Yeah, no problem, Camel. It happens. Sometimes the time zones are a little off, like by an hour or so. But yeah, that's what this big move happened here from. So this big move, this big bullish push was when Powell was speaking from 6 o'clock up until now. This was just, Powell speaking, prices correcting back down. It's really just this, we're just fishing. This is like fishing, right? Waiting for perfect entries to come, waiting for that entry to come to us. We just don't have it yet. So once we get that confirmation, then great, we'll start looking for entries, but we just do not have that confirmation at the moment. There's too many red flags that keep getting hit. And then a lot of moves here that are, looking to invalidate, but we'll see where this goes. So the momentum scalp failure is still technically running right there. Not one that we take, obviously, it's a red flag, but just wanted to check if it's still technically running. All right, so if this candle here closes above the pivots with the buy signal, this will technically be a momentum scalp variation and a momentum scalp. But again, as I mentioned, we can't take the trade here because even if we got a buy entry here, it would have to cut through news price, and that would be one of the red flags. So it's just not in a good area. What I need price to do is I need price to push above here, and I need it to stay above here. If price is above here, then great, we can start looking for some buys, right? But until then, we just got to wait. It's got to be patient and wait for this to play out and confirm. Yeah, Alex said, I wish I had Sean's patience. Yeah, I know it's not easy, bro. Like it's easy to, I mean, it's not easy to really hold off because I know you get a lot of FOMO, or you just get a lot of, you get that itch to enter a trade, right? There's an entry right here, guys, but we can't take that entry. So as I mentioned again, right here, I said if price closes above the pivots, and it sucks because it looks like it's going to hit TP. I said if price closes above the pivots, this would be a momentum scalp variation, right? And then if there's a buy signal there, this will also be a momentum scalp because everything here lines up. Looking over here on the 10, this is bullish, 5 minutes bullish momentum here, buy signal, bullish momentum buy signal here. So once you get a buy signal here on the 1 minute, this would technically be the entry for a momentum scalp. Everything here is lined up, confirm overall trend, bullish, momentum on the 10 is good, momentum on the 5 is good, and then this would be your catalyst for entry. Momentum on the 1 minute time frame, which came up right there, and that'd be your entry for a buy. However, one of the red flags here is when to avoid trades when price is near news price, which is directly on news price right here, this pink line. So unfortunately, I couldn't take this trade here. I mean, it looks like it could have been a good entry if it wasn't at news price, but I'm not going to take that risk. So whenever I take a trade, guys, it's going to be a quality entry. Everything's going to line up, and odds of it hitting are going to be very likely. Right here, this is too much of a risky trade because of where price is currently at. So It's just a matter of patience, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we will continue to look for entries here as price continues to move along. So unfortunately, it looks like this thing's going to hit. I mean, unfortunately, but fortunately, because at least we're seeing that the strategies here are playing out. The only downside here is that we're not in the position. So if you guys remember the momentum scout variation that I saw, or sorry, the momentum scout failure that came up right here. This one over here actually just hit TP, it looks like. Yeah, it did. So if you took that momentum scout failure right here, the one that we marked up, it already hit TP. The momentum scout variation right here, which is currently running, still active, but I think eventually it will hit TP. So a couple setups I just played out there. It's just going to be a matter of patience until we get another one. So it's just going to be some time. But eventually I do think it'll provide us another entry here. What time is news? News is here at, okay, I'm just going to fix this. Yeah, and there goes the momentum scout variation. This one just hit TP as well, it looks like. So if you guys took it, great. If you guys didn't, it's okay. I didn't take it myself. I considered it to be a risky trade, so I didn't take it. It didn't meet my criteria with regard to my red flags. So yeah, this one right here just hit TP for the momentum scout variation. Going over the requirements again, first you want to confirm overall trend. Everything's bullish. Confirm retracement momentum signal. We had a retracement momentum signal right here. Confirm price close past pivots and retracement. Price close below the pivots here. Number 4, confirm price close past the pivots in correction of overall trend. Price closed above the pivots right here. And then you could enter on the close of the candle, which happened right there. So this candle right here was an entry for both strategies, momentum scalp and momentum scalp variation. If you guys took it, full TP. There was some drawdown, but it kind of went straight to TP. So if you guys took it, great. If not, that's perfectly fine. I didn't take it, so it's not going to count towards the results. The only trades that count towards results are the ones that I actually take myself. So none of these are counting, even though there was a couple of good entries here. None of the trades are going to count towards our results for this week so far. So it's got to wait. It's just a matter of waiting for that next entry. So the problem here that I'm most concerned about is obviously the news price right here. So I want price to be away from it, but it keeps coming right back to it. This is what sucks, because if we get an entry here, it's going to hit one of my red flags. So that's going to be the main thing to really focus on. Hopefully, price can finally push away from here. I don't think there's any other news for today, so I'm not sure if, that'll even happen. Save this real quick. I don't have my, one of my buttons here isn't working. Try to fix this real quick. Lines. Interesting. Looks like TradingView just introduced a new function here called Mines. All right, so back to what we were looking at here. Still nothing for us to take at the moment, guys. If you guys have any questions, if you want me to review anything, if there's anything you want me to analyze, just feel free to drop your questions in the chat. There's just not much going on right here, unfortunately. Once we do have some movement here, then we'll start looking for entries, of course. We just don't have anything right now at the moment. Oh, sorry, I'm on the wrong time frame. What is this? It's weird. All right, let me fix this. Yeah, I was wondering what happened, because the time frames changed on me. Okay, let me just fix this real quick, guys. 1 second. Yeah, I was like, why did the price look way different? Because it was way on the other side. All right. Damn, price is pushing up super heavy now. This is fine. Even if price is pushing up like this, we're gonna wait for the retracement. Make sure the time frames are fine over here. Everything's still bullish. 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 1 minute still bullish. So we're looking for buys here. We just need to wait for that confirmation. If and when we get it, which we don't have right now at the moment. All right, some profits here from Cameron. Cameron's currently up 2009 for the day. Nice work, Cameron. All wins, no losses. We got Kevin over here. Yeah, so Kevin said just playing with the FTMO trial while at the airport. Nice. So he would have passed his FTMO trial right here if this was a real challenge. Total profit here is 24,498. Crazy. Nice. Not bad for some airport profits. Yeah. Steven, you should not trade at the airport though. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that time. Remember that time, Steven, when you took a trade? You tried to take a breakout while you were at the airport, and then you like nearly blew the account. Yeah. Unless you can really focus at the airport, don't trade on your phone, especially if you're trying to run to like your gate. Because I remember that one time, Steven, you were like tripping out because you were in a breakout, and like you were like literally running to your gate at the airport, and you ended up taking a really risky trade. Yeah, no. But yeah, so the thing here with Kevin is he was just playing with a trial account. So that's fine. You know, he can play around with it at the airport or wherever he's at. But yeah, I don't recommend trading, guys, unless you guys can put your full focus into it. Because a lot can happen like within a split second, especially if you're scalping. So you really got to be dialed into the analysis here. Anyways, there's nothing for us to take at the moment, guys. Price is still kind of bouncing around. There's no other entries here. Price is pushing back up, which is a good thing. What I'm looking for here is retracement. So we still have a bullish momentum here and bullish trend with regard to the other time frame. So the 10 minute here is obviously still bullish. It's very bullish, actually. 5 minutes, very bullish. 1 minute over here is still bullish as well. But in order for us to take entry here, we need price to come back down and continue back up from that point. Yeah, Kevin said, wouldn't dare trade my real account at the airport. Gallo said, Steven, the man. Yeah, I know, Gallo. Steven's back. It's good to have you back, though, Steven. You used to keep the chat alive for a while with your jokes. I don't know if you ever got Putin to stop the war. I remember you wanted to hit him up and tell him to chill out because he wanted to take some trades. As Steven said, demo account is like a video game. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because you can do whatever you want on a demo account. It's just like, you know, there's no real risk. So, see, Justin said it's at London open or close right now. Good to know, Justin. So it looks like it's at an area where price may possibly be turning. So I want to make sure news price here. I keep accidentally moving news price, but it looks fine. You know, I'm just going to redraw the line right there. All right, so price is still pushing up, which is a good thing. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. I just want price to retrace down so that we can get a momentum scalp failure. Steven said, I haven't played video games in a long time, so now I trade demo accounts instead. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, if you guys ever want to practice, you know, just hop on a trial account or a demo account. If you guys want to play around with the market, like for right now, like today, if you wanted to take all of these risky trades, you could have played around with like a trial account or a demo account, like what Kevin was doing, because all the trades here still hit TP. Like for example, the variation scalp right here hit full TP, and also the momentum scalp. So if you guys are playing with it and you still want to be in the game, you know, feel free to try to have basically a burner account on the side just to play around with. I don't recommend taking these risky trades on your actual account though, because it's just too much of a risk. Peter just sent me a link. Thanks, Peter. He said live House Republicans hold press conference. Yeah, I think well, McCarthy just got voted in finally, so I'm not too surprised. But yeah, I think this is probably going to help quite a bit with kind of stabilizing the market, because there's just so much going on in the world, or in the US in general. Thanks, Peter, for the link. Here, let's just take a look at everything else and see how everything's moving. Let's pull up CNBC real quick. So you guys can see that a lot of companies are continuing to slash jobs, right? We are definitely going into a recession. I mean, no matter whatever anybody says, everyone keeps trying to say that we're not going to a recession, but we obviously are. Let's kind of pull this up right here and see what Powell had to say. Coinbase to slash 20% of workforce. Amazon also mentioned the same thing as well. Bed Bath & Beyond reports wider than expected loss as possible bankruptcy looms. That's going to happen, of course. But don't worry, guys. If we're going into a recession, it's not necessarily a bad thing for us, because if we do go into a recession, it's going to cause a lot of volatility in the market, and that's going to be easier for us to catch our trades here. So personally, I'm pretty much ready for this. There's a momentum scalp failure right here. I missed the entry, but I'm not going to take it because the volume here was kind of high. That's why I was looking down here to see. But there is a momentum scalp failure right here. I'll watch it, and then maybe if I could get a late entry to come back into it, then possibly hop in. But at the moment, I'm just going to watch it for now. But this right here is a momentum scalp failure. The reason why I wouldn't want to take it right away is because it's due for retracement. Price could spike up right here, and it's due to swing back down. So what I'll be looking for here is if price swings back up, possibly come in for a late entry, and then ride it back up. Because if we do get a momentum scalp variation following it, then it's probably going to hit. I think it's probably going to hit if that's the case. Everything here is still bullish, so I think price can swing back up if it decides to. But I'm not in this position here. This here's momentum scalp failure. You can see it's a opposite sell signal against the trend. Volume here was below average. So this right here would technically be a momentum scalp failure. But I'm going to see if price swings back up, because if price does swing back up, then we can possibly get a entry for a momentum scalp variation. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. I'm not in this position, guys, so just FYI, I'm just following it to see if I can get a later entry, because if price does swing back up over here and closes above the pivots, then this would technically be a momentum scalp variation. As you guys can see, the market's super iffy right now. It's not really moving directional at all. It's kind of just going back and forth. It's having a big spike to the upside, and then it pulls down super heavy, and then it shoots right back up. Not exactly the type of market that you want to trade in. A lot of this stuff is based off the news from this morning, because Powell did speak. So if you guys can see, let me just show you real quick. So Powell started speaking right here at 6 o'clock, right? So Powell started speaking right here. You guys can see how far price pushed up without any real retracement. I mean, there were small retracements here, but there weren't really notable retracements. Price pushed up super heavily, consolidated, pushed up heavier right here. This was one retracement, but then it just turned into a big range. The price was just ranging back and forth, and then it pushed up again right here. And then here we go as price continues to move along. As I mentioned, price we were following this trifecta strategy right here. And what I typically look for is I look for the trade to follow first one. So we have this one right here that comes up first, which this would have been a loss. Good thing we didn't take it. I wasn't planning on taking it because I was waiting for this retracement to happen. Price is technically pushed up 2,730 pips, so it's due for retracement. This retracement here was well overdue. What I'd be looking for next is a momentum scalp variation. So in order for me to take entry, I would probably look for price to swing back up from where it's currently at and close above the pivots, right? If we get that, then great, we'll look for some entries there. But at the moment, it's just not a good time to enter any trades because price is just overextended right here. So Yeah, Christian said I'll prefer discipline because then you'll do the same on the real account. Yeah, exactly, Christian. 100%. I agree with you too. So there's no entries for me to take right now. Still waiting for this here to confirm. Here, let me see. Question over here from Glenn. Glenn's asking, hey, Sean, why is my volume level different from yours? Are you using the same indicator and the same asset? Because that might be the case. If you're on YM, like make sure you're on YM. I'm on the future data. This data here is the most accurate US30 data that you can find because this is direct. This is directly from the exchange. This is not broker data, so this isn't broker created data. This is directly from a CBOT. So I think the main reason why yours might be different is you're either on a different asset or your settings here might be different. So my settings over here are default settings. I have my input set to 20. Everything here is pretty much default. I turn on the moving average right here. The only difference I can think of would be that you're on a different asset. So if you're on US30 over here, let me check real quick. Yeah, if you're on US30, yours probably looks like this, like way different, right? It's not accurate at all. You can see the volume here is kind of just the same. It doesn't really have a difference compared to YM, what I use here, which is way more accurate. And this is accurate because you're getting the actual data from the exchange. It's not made up data from the broker. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So Glenn's on US30. Yeah. You don't have like the best data. So I don't think your volume is going to be very accurate because since you're on US30, if you're not familiar with how US30 compares to YM is the actual asset. So this is a real future asset that US30 copies off. So if you look over here, if you type in US30, you can see that on this side, it has all the brokers, right? These brokers create their own pricing. So they create their own data. They basically copy YM over here, but it's not like a pure data. It's not raw data. Yeah, they kind of manipulate it a bit so that they can make money off the trade. So like, for example, these are called CFDs, which are contracts for difference. This here is the real price. So if you look at US30 here, it's going to be off by maybe like 100 pips. Like your question here, Alex. Alex said he's on MetaTrader 4. Why is price different? Because that's broker data. So they basically set their own pricing. So if you look at MT4 right now, price is currently at 33,575, but the raw data here is 33,633. So what did they do? They added price difference to it, right? With that price difference, that's how they make money off your trades. So for example, if you enter a trade here on MT4, and then the pricing is like different, they're going to make that money in the difference in between what the real price is. So we have a possible entry right here, guys. This will be a possible entry for a momentum scalp variation and a momentum scalp. So if this closes above here, I'll take this for a buy. Let's let it run. So it's got to make sure it actually closes above the pivot. That's going to be one of the key things to look out for here, guys. Kind of looks fine, nothing too big or too small, looks fine. So, all right. So let's see where this goes, guys. I'm in this position here. If it hits TP early, I got to pull out early. I can't be taking too much of a risk here. So all of the risk here, I'm only taking 1.5% risk. So I don't really, it's not a big deal if whatever happens with the trade. I just you want to make sure that your risk is on point. So this is going to be considered variation plus momentum scalp. All right, so just leave it as is, and we will see. So yeah, back to what I was saying earlier, Alex and Glenn. So the reason why pricing is different is because brokers set their own pricing. Like, so for example, here, this is a raw price, but if you look at any of the other data here, if you look at currency.com, Black Bull, capital.com, Pepperstone, they're all going to be a little bit different because they set their own pricing. There goes price pushes up, almost at TP. What else do I need to check here? I think that's it. Yeah, there's no other entries here. That's pretty much the only entry that I see. So I just wanted to see if there's any other confluences or confirmations that I need to look out for, but I don't really see anything else here. So Steven, if it hits TP here on TradingView, you got to close out. Okay, that's what you got to look out for. I set an alert here, so when it hits TP here, when it does, the alert will pop up in the middle of the screen. At that point, you should definitely be closing out. I'm not going to be I'm moving my TP or stop loss up early. I'm just going to let the trade run. This is why it's important that you use proper risk with your trades, guys, so that you don't have to worry about it. Like if it hits TP, great. If it doesn't hit TP, it's fine because I'm only risking 1% here. I think that's the key with a lot of people. Like when you guys take trades, you have to understand the risk, right? Because if you're over leveraging, then yeah, you're going to be stressed out with the position. But for me here, it's like whatever happens is fine because there's going to be more trades. So that's the thing that a lot of people need to understand when you guys are taking trades. Make sure that you're using proper risk. I think if you're using a 1% risk, you're not going to be so stressed out about a move versus if you're using something that's over leveraged. Like if you're taking a 3% risk, then yeah, it's going to be risky because you can only take a 5% risk on FTMO. So you get close to your daily loss. But if you're taking 1% risk, you're so far from it that it doesn't really matter. Damn, John said it hit his TP already. Pricing is different, Steven, so I can't tell you what the exact price would be for your TP on here. Oh, fuck, man, what's going on with this? Shit, this thing hit my stop loss. Okay, guys, it's fine. I don't know what happened here. This, is there news right now? 7:30? Let me check. Well, I mean, it's fine. I only lost the 1% risk, so it's not a big deal. Let me check I don't know what happened. Price just ended up coming down super heavy. I don't see any news today or right now specifically. I mean, it's all good. We'll move on to the next one. So we took one loss right there. It happens. We're moving on to the next one. If we have another entry that comes up, it's completely fine because then at that point we'll have we'll just be down like half of the move because we're doing 2-to-1 here, so it's not really too much of a big deal. But that was a big spike right there. Spike down 500 pips on like one candle or two candles, I guess. That sucks. You got really close to TP2 right there. All right, well, it's fine. Let's move on to the next one here. Everything here is still pretty much, well, it was bullish, but now the 10-minute over here has a pending sell signal and the 5-minute over here has a pending sell signal as well. So if that's the case, you might be shifting from buys to sell if that becomes the case. But I'm still kind of curious, why did price drop so heavily right there? Super volatile. Yeah, it looks like everything is dropping right now for some reason. I don't know if anything is going on in the world. Let me check real quick. CNBC, refresh this. I don't see any news. Let me check the indices real quick. So looking at the indices right here, yeah, everything like literally just dropped right now. The Dow dropped, S&P dropped, NASDAQ dropped a little bit. Because earlier this was up like 100 points. Now it's down, it's only up like 4 points. S&P is down 1 point. NASDAQ's only up 8 points. I don't know if there was anything that was announced right now, if Powell is still speaking. Said Fed Chair Jerome Powell noted that stabilizing prices requires making tough decisions that can be unpopular politically. I mean, it's all good. We figured price was going to be moving weird today because Powell was speaking. I wasn't sure if Powell was still speaking, but I thought he was done by now. Anyways, this thing over here, dropped pretty heavy. So, I mean, if this is the case, this is fine. We'll start looking for sells, but it hasn't confirmed here yet. The 5-minute and the 10-minute here just spiked down really hard. This candle here is huge. Here on the 10-minute, this over here dropped about, yeah, this one candle here on the 10-minute dropped 1,000 pips just on one candle. But it's still bullish right now, so there's no confirmation of it There's no confirmation of the switch in direction yet. It's still bullish here. So you can see price is still bullish here. Price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. Same here on the 5, price is above the pivots, trend meter is green. You can see on the 1 minute price is just all over the place. It's spiking right back up as well. I don't know what happened here at this point, but price just ended up dumping. Yeah. So you can see right here, we were in this position right here. Price came up here close to our TP, and then it spiked down a whole 1,600 pips. I think for Dijon over here, he was using the smaller TP stop loss. So typically we use 100, 300. So for example, if you had the smaller TP stop loss here, you would have hit your TP. But it's all good. I prefer to have the wider TP stop loss now because of the volatility, but I wasn't expecting something like this to happen. So looks like Dijon over here actually locked in profits. So Maria over here locked in the total profit of 92 for the day. Nice work, Maria. And I'm going to post up my losses too. I want to be transparent with you guys because I don't want you guys to think that like losses are impossible, right? Because they do happen. The thing with me here is that I used proper lot sizing, so it's not really a big deal. I lost about, let's see. Yeah, I lost 3,000, which is not a big deal. It's 3,000, divided by my 200K count. This is only 1% risk, 1.5%. So let me just, I'm going to take a screenshot of it because I want to be transparent with you guys. I want you guys to understand that losses do happen. So I'm going to put this right here. This is our first loss for the year so far. I mean, I'm still in profit for the, year and for the week, but it's one loss right there. Stop loss hit for our momentum scalp variation entry, unfortunately. Huge price spike down. Yeah, and here's my loss right here. So I lost 3,000, which is not that much, in the bigger scheme of things, it's not too much. I already made like a lot of profit from this week or from yesterday, so it's not a huge deal. It's just a little setback. We just need 2 more wins to basically come back from this, which is not too difficult. So let me just put that right there. There you go. So yeah, it's not too much. So this is what I mean about using proper risk, right? So if you're using proper risk and you're risking a 1%, it's not too much, because when you take the next trade, say if we take one more trade here and it hits TP, you're going to be up 0.75%. So you just need 2 of those there, and then we'll be back at break even for the day. So not a huge deal. We just now got to wait for another entry to come up. This one did look like a good entry though, so don't get me wrong. This was a good entry. It just didn't play out. I'll just go back and replay it real quick. There's only one thing here that I kind of would have wanted to happen. So I would have wanted volume here to be above average. You can see volume here was below average, but everything lined up. It was bullish, price was above the pivots, trend meter was green, looked like a solid entry. Our entry came up right there. 25.50. It got really close to our TP. Like it was like literally, let's see, like 4 pips away, not that far away. And then it just ended up reversing. So it's all good. It happens. Anyways, on to the next one. Let's see if we could find one more entry. I want to have at least 1 entry today so that I can at least offset my loss. I think that's the key thing here. Price is now below the pivot, so we might have shifted to a bearish trend, but it has not confirmed here yet on the 5-minute and 10-minute. The 10-minute is still pending. You can see we have a sell signal here, but it hasn't closed below the pivots yet. So the trend meter is still green. It's still bullish. Same here on the 5-minute. Price here swung below and closed, but the trend meter down here is still green. So it's still technically bullish at the moment. In order for us to take a sell, we need price to shift to the downside. We do have a sell signal here on the 5. So this might be a confirmation of reversal. Here on the 10-minute, this has about 3 minutes left on the candle. So in the next 3 minutes, we can confirm whether this is going to, shift to the downside. Let's see. Oh yeah, Karen also mentioned this Trap Tuesday. I totally forgot about that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on today. We had Powell speaking, so Powell causes a big bullish push right here. And then, I'm assuming price is just correcting back down. So as I mentioned earlier, guys, Powell started speaking over here at 6 o'clock, right? That's exactly what happened actually. So this right here is when Powell started speaking. So you guys can see where price is coming back down to, right? So Powell started speaking here at 6 o'clock. If you guys are not familiar with Jerome Powell, he is the head of the Treasury. So basically, whenever he discusses anything, it's regarding the full economy here in the US. So you can see how price spiked up and then, well, I mean, it pushed up, it didn't spike up, but it was pushing up consistently as he spoke. And then as soon as Powell was done speaking around 7, price corrects right back down to where it was before. Because this is technically where price is supposed to be. Price is supposed to be down here right now. So this bar right here is basically when Powell started speaking. We just got caught in, sometimes you'll get caught in bad entries where or just bad positions where you just don't have control over it. Price is just correcting back down to where it's supposed to be. So this is all noise from like when Powell spoke up here. And then now price is right back down. If this becomes the case here where we end up having, so I was looking to see if this could be a momentum scalp failure, but we can't take this entry here yet because everything here is still bullish. So the 5-minute here is still bullish and the 10-minute here is still bullish. If this here is both bearish, if this was below the pivots, this is below the pivots, then if we got a sell signal right here, or sorry, a buy signal, we could actually take this for a momentum scalp failure for a sell. But we can't take that trade because it hasn't been confirmed. So no entry for that yet. Yeah, Steven said he only lost 200. Good thing he listened. Yeah, no, that's key. All right, so I'm hoping we could get at least one more trade. If not, then I'm just going to close this trading day with a loss, which is completely fine. I'll probably make it back tomorrow on the breakout 2.0. If we have a breakout tomorrow and I let that trade run, that's going to be for a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So I'll be making about 3,000 off that trade if and when it does play out. Unfortunately, I didn't take the breakout 2.0 today. Breakout 2.0 would have been nice because if I did take that there with you guys right here. So this is a breakout 2.0. I would have made 1,000 on this trade. But it's all good. Yeah. So what I'm counting on tomorrow, if we don't find a trade here from now until 8 because it's 20 minutes till 8, I don't know if we'll have that confirmation yet because the 5-minute over here is bearish. So we have a sell signal right here on the 5. In order for us to take any buys here, we need price to actually shift back up. We also have a pending sell signal here on the 10. So there just is no alignment with regard to trend and momentum. I was hoping I'd catch maybe one trade to offset my losses for today, but it does not look like we're probably going to get one. If that's the case, then tomorrow I'm going to be banking on the 2.0 breakout to basically cover today's loss, bring me back into heavy profit, and then maybe take a couple more scalps tomorrow as well to build off that. So basically, in order for you guys to make up for today's loss, you need to either have one breakout hit full TP, because that'll be a 1.5% profit risk, or you need to hit 2 scalps, which is very possible. It's only Tuesday, so we have a whole week ahead of us. Let me check the news for tomorrow to see if there's anything that we got to be worried about. Tomorrow is Wednesday, January 11th. We have the 10-year bond auction at 10 o'clock, and the crude oil inventories at 7:30. So we don't really have too much news. I mean, this is going to affect price, but I think if this is the case, we don't have any news pre-market, which will be perfect for our breakout 2.0. So breakout 2.0, and then hopefully like 1 or 2 scalps to push us over the top. But yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we just got to be patient and wait for this to play out. There's one thing I got to emphasize, guys: use proper lot sizing and proper risk per trade, because it's all about probabilities here. All right, we got price kind of bouncing around right here, but we have no confirmation on the higher time frames. The 5-minute here is starting to shift to the sell side, of course, and the 10-minute over here as well. But there just isn't anything for us to follow here. See, can you send me a link for Facebook? What's going on? Okay, so I don't know if this is what could have affected the market. So this is another thing that I want to mention. It's the same link that we were looking at earlier. So, this trade here might have been my bad. So if you guys remember earlier, I think Peter and also Kenny sent this link. The House Democrats were House Democrats and House Republicans were speaking at the time of our entry right here. So I'm not sure if they said something to affect the market, because I can't understand why price dropped so heavily right there. I mean, price looked fine, and then all of a sudden it just dropped super heavy right here. So I'm not sure if like this had any effect on it. If it did, then my mistake, guys. Like, we could have probably avoided that the trade, but you really don't know what's going on, right? Because I don't have the volume up, so I don't know what he's talking about. But I know obviously they're talking about the economy. I can't really tell. Steven said, I've had a dream when I received my profit split. Yeah, no, definitely. Steven is looking to do. Steven was asking me about other prop firms, guys, yesterday and today. I don't recommend you guys do any other prop firms other than FTMO and MFF, right? I don't have anything against any other prop firms, but if you guys want something that's reliable, stick to FTMO and MFF, because those are the only ones that I've been using for a while that actually have been like consistent with payouts and their customer service is there. MFF is getting better. They're still not there yet, but they are getting better. So first do FTMO and then after do MFF. TFF is still, I still don't know what to say about them until like we have better confirmation that they're going to stay consistent. Yeah, TFF still sucks. I mean, they're not good at the moment. I'm looking at the there's like a lot more slippage on TFF. I lost 3,500 on theirs, but it's fine. I mean, it happens. Anyways, I'm looking for a confirmation of direction here. As you guys can see, the 10-minute and the 5-minute is starting to confirm, but it's getting close to 8 o'clock. So we don't really, it's not looking like we're going to have anything here specifically for this entry here, because in order for us to confirm the sell bias here on the 10, price needs to close below and stay below. And if this candle here closes, it's not really going to give us much time to look for an entry after, because it's going to be 7:50 at that point. We have 10 minutes till 8. That's going to be another 10-minute candle. Let's see, you guys are having a conversation here in the chat, so I have no input on that, but yeah, I don't know. That sucks. Anyways, back to the charts, guys. There's nothing for us to take right now, so don't worry, you guys are not missing anything. So we have one loss for today. That's about it. We took one trade. Unfortunately, we didn't take anything else. If we took any other trades, it would have been fine because it would have offset it. The breakout 2.0 over here would have been a full TP, but we didn't take that, so it's not going to count. We're just going to count one loss for this trading day. We had a couple other scalps here that also hit TP, but like there was another momentum scalp variation that came up earlier. I think it was like this one over here, right? But it was at news price, so we couldn't take the trade. So unfortunately, all of the good trades here that that came up, they unfortunately were red flags, so we couldn't take these trades. The one trade that we did take wasn't a red flag, but it didn't play out. So I mean, it's all good. Let's see. E said he used to be an admin here too. Not anymore. Yeah, no, Kyle went and did his own thing, which is completely fine, guys, right? A lot of people start here in K2 and then they branch out and they do their own thing, start their own companies and, do great things. So, I mean, I personally have nothing bad to say against Kyle. I think Kyle's I think he's cool, but, I don't know how he does business, so I can't really speak on any of that. The one thing with his company, First Class Forex, is that it's a brand new company. So you guys have to understand that there's going to be issues there. And it's really up to your guys' preference if you guys want to go and try out new companies. But for me personally, I'm only going to recommend FTMO and MFF because that's all I can recommend that I believe is consistent. They've been around for so long. I think FTMO has actually been around for like 10 years now. I think when they started, they only had like a 50K account or even less, a 5K account. And they've grown over the years. So, yeah, I have no opinion on like any other funding companies aside from FTMO, which I think is reliable, MFF, which is what I think is number 2, TFF, which is okay, but I still think they're shit. Other than that, I don't have any other opinion on any other companies because I've never used any other funding company. I've only used those 3. So I'm not going to speak on any other funding companies that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I know a lot of you guys have been talking about stuff that's going on in like other groups and stuff, but I mean, I don't really pay attention to any of that stuff there. I'm still like, I just stick to what I'm doing here. Let's see. Gary said, do you recommend MFF over FTMO, Sean? No, I don't. So FTMO is still going to be number 1. MFF's okay. I mean, they're getting better, but their customer service is, well, it wasn't so good before. It is getting better though, but it's still not one that I'd recommend. I would recommend that you use FTMO until you maxed out everything. So make sure that you have, max allocation, which is 400K in accounts. Once you have that, then you can move on to MFF. But yeah, for the most part, those are the only 2 that I can really recommend. But FTMO is for sure going to be the gold standard. They've been around for a long time, so I think they're most reliable. Question from oh nice. So Barack actually took the trade earlier and hit CP. On Code's asking what happened to that dude Josh who came up with the V2 strategy a year ago. I think it was. Josh is still, well, he's technically still around. He's working with Kyle right now with First Class Forex. I actually met up with Kyle and Josh over the weekend. They were here visiting California. So Josh is still trading. He's actually still trading that same strategy. He's just doing it on his own. He's just not in the group because he's busy helping, Kyle run First Class Forex. So Josh is still doing all right. He's still trading. He just is, he's kind of tied up with other things right now because he does help with a lot of the customer service at First Class Forex. So he doesn't really have time to trade as much as we do here. Like my main focus here is always going to be trading, guys. I know we have like our signals and stuff like that happen every once in a while, but the main focus here is going to be trading always. I'm not really looking to sell anything to you guys. You guys are welcome to use my strategies and my indicators, but I'm not necessarily pushing anything on you guys because my main focus here is to trade. Yeah, because that was my plan initially. Initially, I was going to start a funding company. Kyle ran with the idea, which is great, and I'm glad that he's thriving, with the idea. But Kyle hasn't traded in like more than half a year. He loves trading, but he can't trade because he's busy with my Forex, with First Class Forex. So, yeah, I mean, trading's always going to come first for me, guys. So you guys don't have to worry about me doing something else that's going to get in the way of our trading. I'm still going to be trading live with you guys here every single day. I make most of my profits from actual trading. So it's not, majority of everything I make is from trading. So this is always going to be my main, bread and butter. So don't worry about the live sessions ever going missing. Like you guys will see, I go on vacation and I'm still trading every day. Like trading never stops for me. But yeah, there's no other entries here, guys. Unfortunately, there's no confirmation of anything else over here. Over here at the 5-minute, you can see that there's no confirmation of direction of price or like where things are going. Same with the 10-minute over here. There is nothing going on. Price is correcting back up. But as price continues to correct back up, there's no confirmation here for any entry. It's 752 right now. So we got about 8 minutes until 8. Once we have, some sort of confirmation, we can look for entries, but we just don't have anything at the moment. Patrick said, you go missing, TFF is a primary suspect. I know, right, Patrick? Literally. Dijon said, I have at least one funded account on my birthday. By my birthday. When's your birthday, Dijon? I think you mentioned it, right? Is it this month or is it next month? June. Oh, you're fine, bro. Don't worry about that. So here's the thing. So we do have talks of starting a prop firm. No, it's not a regular prop firm though. So what we plan on doing is starting something similar to a prop firm, but for our prop firm, you can only apply my strategy. So basically you see these strategies that we're applying right here: momentum scalp failure, momentum scalp variation, momentum scalp. We're going to start a prop firm, but basically you can only apply my strategies because I know this stuff works. The problem with this here is that I'm too busy looking at every strategy, right? If you can just focus on one, like say, for example, we have a group of people who are only applying momentum scalp failures. You apply them on the different time frames, right? Say the 1 minute, the 2 minute, 3 minute. You can see there's a lot of momentum scalp failures here. Here's the 2 minute time frame, right? We have a momentum scalp failure right here. There's one trade that we missed that we could have taken, right? If someone took this trade, this would have been a full TP, right? Right there, momentum scalp failure on the 2 minute, random time frame. Go to the 3 minute. There's a momentum scalp failure here later too. This isn't the same candle. This one's a little bit off, but there's another momentum scalp failure right here on the 3 minute, full TP, right? So if I could get a team of you guys or whoever is interested, a team of people who can focus on just one strategy and just basically apply all momentum scalp failures on all the time frames from 6:30 to 8, and then someone else who applies all the momentum scalp variations from 6 to 8, we can all make a lot of money, right? Because we can pool money and you guys can trade the money and we'll just all win, and then everyone takes their cut of the profits. So I do plan on creating a prop firm, guys. Don't that's not out of the question, but it's not going to be like FTMO. It's not going to be something where you pay a fee and then you do whatever you want, right? I'm going to be in control of everything you guys do because I want to make sure that you guys make as much money as possible, because the more money you make, the more money I make, right? So I am going to make a prop firm at some point. It's going to be a traditional prop firm, not one where I make money off people failing challenges, because I actually want you to pass and I want you guys to be consistent, because you will be trading that, but I'm going to take a cut of your percentage too, because I'm basically making you the best trader possible. So just keep that in mind, guys. It's in the talks today, or it's in the talks in general, and we're probably going to move forward with that hopefully by the end of the year. So I do plan on opening a prop firm, but I'm not going to be you guys can only apply my strategies. You guys can't be applying your own thing because there's no consistency in that. If you guys follow my strategies here, you guys will find consistency. We'll have someone that only applies a breakout, right? Some people that only apply momentum scalps, the only people who apply the variations, only people who apply the regular scalps. So that's where our goal is, right? I'm going to mentor you to be the best trader you can possibly be, and to just basically follow my strategies, because I know my stuff works. So that's going to be the next step for us here. Everyone has a next move. That's going to be on my next move. Basically molding you guys to be me. I'm going to basically create a bunch of me's, and you guys can just make money doing that. And then we all make money and we're all happy. So that's the plan there with the next step with our group. So yeah, guys, it's about to be 8 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop in the chat. Just a reminder, guys, I'm still doing the free mentorship next month. So if you guys want to join in on that, you guys are more than welcome to join in. If you guys have friends, family who want to do that as well, I'll be mentoring people. But I think that'll be the last mentorship for us to because what I plan on doing is when I open my own prop firm, a traditional prop firm, I'm going to be closing signups because we're going to be applying my strategies. And I don't want other people to be using them. So if you guys are in the group, you guys are going to be fine. You guys are still going to have access to everything, but it's not going to be open to new people, because once I start my own prop firm where we trade my strategies, the strategies are going to have to be proprietary, because I don't want other people using them if that's going to be our main focus on how we're going to be making money trading. So, hey, Marcus, how's it going? Yeah, no problem. Marcus said, "What's up, Sean? You always have a great idea, bro. Keep that up." Yeah, definitely, Marcus. It's good to see you here. I know a lot of old faces here are reappearing on the YouTube and the live streams. So it's good to see that you guys are still around. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna be focused on basically getting that idea up and running, hopefully by the end of the year. And I'm just looking for ways to make money for all of us, right? I want to make sure all of us win, all of us eat. I just don't think the prop firm space is something that's sustainable. You can only make so much money off people failing challenges until people can't afford the challenges anymore. But if I can teach you guys to be good traders, this will just be reoccurring. Like every month, we'll just be making money from actual trading, and I'll just take a percentage of it and we're all happy. So that's the thing. Fern's asking, random question to kill time. What's your experience with S&B Capital? So I was actually going to trade with S&B Capital when I first started trading. That was actually the first company I looked at because I wanted capital to trade, right? Like I had my own strategies, but I just didn't have the capital a long time ago. So I was actually going to go trade with S&B. I was going to go all the way to New York and trade with them. But then I created this community, and now we're going to create our own S&B Capital, basically. Kodi Kai Capital, right? Something like that. But yeah, it's going to be something like that. If you guys are familiar with S&B Capital, that's the model that I'm going for. If you guys know about S&B Capital, what they do is they basically interview people to trade for them, and they just mold them into S&B traders. So for here, I'm going to be molding you guys to be Kodi Kai traders, right? You're just going to be applying my strategies. You're going to be on point. Trade psychology is going to be on point. The difference with that too as well is that how for FTMO, if you guys fail the challenge, you guys are done. So for me, as long as you guys are applying my strategies and you guys are not screwing anything up, like you're following the requirements and you lose a trade, you're completely fine. I'm not going to be mad at you. I'm actually be happy that you follow the requirements here. So the only way to really get kicked out of my prop firm is if you don't follow my requirements. If you don't follow my strategies, then you're going to be out, right? Because I can't have you taking risky trades. If you just follow my strategies, I know these strategies work. So as long as you follow them consistently, I know we're going to make a lot of money long term. And that's the main thing that you guys have to follow. So it's either, you apply my strategies, you do it consistently, and you grow with us long term. Or if you do your own thing, then, you do your own thing, you're just out of the group. So that's kind of what we're doing. Let's see. E is asking, what's the advantage of it over you just taking the trades on a big personal account? I'm curious. So the advantage of that, E, is that I don't know if you've ever taken big trades on a big account, but you can't execute all of them. Like they're not going to get all filled. So for example, if I'm taking like 1,000 lot size, they're not all going to fill on like a real broker, right? Because you can't just put in 1,000 lots and then expect all of them to get filled. The thing is, with the prop firm, if we're doing it from multiple accounts and from different people and on different servers, they'll execute, right? Because they're getting executed on different servers. They're not all going to be from one person, one big order coming in. That's how hedge funds, that's how a lot of these prop firms trade. You could ask the same question to these other big prop firms. If it was that easy to execute like 1,000 orders at once, they would just have one person doing all the trading, right? But they have multiple people. Another thing why this is going to be advantages for us is because, as I mentioned, you can apply these strategies on different time frames. So some people will be applying it on the 1 minute. Some people will be applying it on the 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute. They're not all going to be on the 1 minute time frame. So entries are going to be taken at different times. So for example, here, where's that one entry that I saw earlier? So like say, for example, this one right here, right? This entry came up at 622. And I'm just going to show you this as an example. So this is 622 right here. This would have been a full TP. Let me go to the 2 minute time frame. So 622, we'll keep that time in mind. You guys can see right here that this entry came up at 622. We're on the 2 minute time frame now, right? There's another entry that came up over here, but this is now at 7 o'clock. So we're not taking entries at the same exact time. If we go on the 3 minute over here, you can see that there's another entry that came up at 7:03. So there's an entry that came up at 6:22, one that came up at 7 o'clock, one that came up at 7:03. These entries are being executed at different times. So we're going to be able to get filled on basically every order here, right? We're not entering at the same exact time. We go on the 4-minute, there's another entry here. And then this happens at a different, well, there's no entry here actually. 5-minute. Let's close this. 5-minute, there's no entries here. Some days you're going to have no entries. Some days you're going to have a lot of entries. 6-minute over here. If you were to take another one right here, this entry would have been at like 7:36. So as you guys can see, there's different entries that come up at different times. So that's the benefit of applying, of, you know, having multiple people trading the same strategies, but on different time frames. And it's not the only strategy. Like if we're applying the breakout 2.0, someone will make entry on the 10-minute, or some people will make entries on the 1-minute, or some people will take a regular breakout. So for example, here, I couldn't take both entries because I would be focused on one of them, right? So for the 10-minute here, this is one entry that could have been taken. But then you could have also taken the entry here on the 1-minute. So say, for example, I have like two people, one person focus on the 10-minute, one person focus on the 1-minute. As long as you apply the strategy properly, we're both going to win, right? I'm only one person, so I can't be applying every single entry on every time frame. So this would be the 1-minute breakout, full TP, and this would be the 10-minute breakout 2.0, full TP. So you guys can see here that it's really lucrative if I can get you guys to apply my strategies on basically every time frame, because there's so many entries here to take. And we're only trading from 6:30 to 8. So that's a cool thing too. With my prop firm, I'm only going to let you guys trade between 6:30 and 8 during my live trading session time. So, you know, they'll be very accurate, and we're just going to be in and out within that hour or so. So realistically, if you guys are going to be part of my prop firm, you're only going to be working for like an hour and a half every day. And then we'll probably still live stream it, but it's not going to be the same setup here. Let's see. Deswell said, okay, hire me, Sean, I'm down. Yeah, definitely. Becky said, I thought they charged a hefty fee up front for training. So for SMB, they have different plans there, Becky. Like you could either be like one of their traders, like as an employee type person, where you just trade their fund and then you get a salary. And then I think you get like a percentage, a bonus. But if you wanted to just learn their strategy, yeah, you have to pay a fee to get the training. Yeah, exactly. 100%. Steven's asking, is it possible for you to send the breakout 2.0 in signal format? Maddie's going to do that, but there was no entry today, Steven. So you can take that one. Question from EE's asking, would you consider traders that use your strategies with a twist that have a high win rate with proven results? Possibly, we'd have to see, right? So yeah, no, we're always open to like other possibilities, but the thing is like, does it really have a high win rate, right? Because it might seem like it has a high win rate up front, but you would you know, we would have to actually test it, like really deep test it to make sure that it actually works. But yeah, I'm always up to open other ideas. We just got to make sure it actually works though. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said no outside strats, only Kodi Kai strats. Nothing has been tested the way Kodi Kai has. Yeah, exactly. So there's no because this is the only way that we can really make sure that everyone's doing things properly is if you're applying my strategy. So I mean, we're open to the idea of testing other strategies to see if like they're accurate or not. Because like, for example, so the momentum scout failure, this is a creation that CT came up with. Like I didn't come up with this. I had a similar strategy, but not the same one. So, you know, CT came up with this and then we started applying it and it worked perfect. So I'm always up to the idea, but I'm not necessarily looking to branch out unless like we know for sure that it's like at the caliber of the strategies that we need. Donahue's asking, why is your DJ on TradingView different from ours? Everybody's using YM now, Donahue. We've been using this for like a couple months now. So we're all using YM. YM, so I don't know if you haven't been in the group for a while, but YM is the actual future. So I don't know if you know the difference between YM and US30. US30 is a made up asset. So it's a CFD, it's a contract for difference. If you look at US30 here, like all of these are based off these brokers. So these brokers create pricing for it. That's why you see pricing is like way different. This right here is the real data. Like this is the raw data pulled from the exchange. So you have to pay for this data. This data isn't available for free. You have to pay a monthly fee to get this data directly from the exchange. You can see right here, it's pulled from the CBOT. But this is like the raw pricing. So this will move faster and it'll move more accurate than US30. Like if you were to put this side by side, you'll see that they move similar, but look, so we have US30 right here, or we have YM. And I'll pull up US30 over here from currency.com, and then we'll just pull another one up here. US30. And I just feel like a lot of people don't realize this, that these are all copies of YM. So YM is the actual future. You can see here that the movement's very similar, but this one's going to be faster because I'm pulling this data directly from the exchange. So you can see right here, this is moving really slow. It's delayed, right? It's lagged. This is lagged too. This was already a green candle before these even changed. So the movement is similar, but this one is always going to be a bit faster because we're getting it directly from the exchange. It's the fast, it's the raw data. And then also you'll see the pricing here is different as well. Pricing for the raw data here is 33,712. You can see here that currency.com, their pricing is 33,568. So they're off by like 200 pips. And this is how they make money off their traders, right? Because what they'll do is you guys will execute trades off these brokers, and then they'll just sell them for the difference on the actual exchange right here. So this data is faster. It's more accurate. You guys can see the volume indicator down here is very accurate as well. If you turn on the volume indicator on currency.com, see the volume here is not even accurate. I mean, it's accurate, but it's nowhere near what the volume looks like on the exchange. So the volume right here is just pretty much all up. Realistically, the volume here is actually going up and down because this is how it's supposed to be moving. So we're all on YM now, Donnie. I'm not sure if like you haven't been part of the group in a while, which is I'm assuming, but we've been using YM since like November. Because what happened during November is a lot of these brokers here started freezing, right? So if you're using currency.com or ACAP or any of these brokers, these here were kind of frozen for a while and we couldn't trade. But the actual exchange over here is direct because you're not getting the feeds like directly from the exchange. Yeah, I mean, if you want to get it, it's only like $4 a month. It's not even that expensive. Like, but you get like a huge advantage in the market, especially if you're scalping or day trading, because you want to have the fastest data as price, continues to give you entries. So there's nothing wrong with currency.com. You can still use it, but from my experience, like we've been using YM for the past couple months, it's been like way different. And a lot of the times here, we get into entries and FTMO is like kind of delayed by like a second or 2 seconds. So like when we enter trades on FTMO, we're like automatically in profit already right away. Gotcha. Yeah, no, it's good to have you back, Donahue. It's good to see a lot of you guys back. Donahue, Marcus, Camo, everyone. Like a lot of you guys here who've been part of the group for years. It's good to see a lot of you guys back here. But no, it's good. It's good to see you back here. What I recommend is go back and rewatch the live sessions. So what I recommend, guys, if you guys are new here and you guys want to get up to speed with everything, just go to our website, kodikaitrades.com, log into the free access right here. This is where you'll get access to pretty much all the indicators, strategies, and all that stuff. And if you click on this right here, this will be the YouTube channel. If you guys go on this channel right here, just go down to live mentoring sessions. I'd recommend watching like all of the most recent mentoring sessions and live trading sessions, and you guys will see the routine that I do every single day. I do the same thing pretty much every day. So if you guys can get the routine down, you guys will see that it's just a rinse and repeat every single day of what we're applying and executing with our trades here. Rashida said a failure hit for 100, 300. Yeah, I think today, Rashida, just like looking at the market, it would have been better for us to apply the original TP stop loss, right? Because the volatility here wasn't really that high. So if we took a lot of our entries here for 100 pips, it would have been, we probably would have hit our TPs. But it's all good. Yeah, Donahue. No, so volume, I think volume is like the last key to our puzzle, right? Because we already have our entries here that are good, but the volume here gives us that extra confidence to enter a trade. So yeah, just watch the most recent sessions, Donahue, and you'll see what's up. Like everything's pretty much the same. It's just that we're implementing the volume indicator down here so that we know when to enter trades. Makes a huge difference. I don't think anyone scalps during Asia sessions, as Steven. I don't recommend you scalp either during Asia session. You should probably just stick to the New York session. All right, C-Soup, definitely. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, I think that's it. It's already 8:13, so it's way past 8. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Just want to give you guys a little heads up with our ideas moving forward. We're gonna have a meeting with basically all of the main people within K2, our admins. We're gonna discuss, the business model, figure out how we can partner up and we can get this going. I'm gonna try to get teams together. So whoever wants to apply momentum scalp entries, whoever wants to apply momentum scalp failure entries, we'll get those teams together and then just focus on those entries there. So we can really bring this to light, because I know we've been talking about this prop firm for like maybe a year now. But it's going to be a legit traditional prop firm, not an FTMO, not an MFF. Just like main focus on our strategies here. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. Let's see. Fern's asking, are we changing the TP stop loss? So for me personally, I'm leaving it at that for right now, Fern. So our TP stop loss is 25.50 at the moment because the volatility is a little higher. Today wasn't as high as yesterday. Yesterday was actually okay. Like everything was moving fine. But today the market was super choppy because Powell was speaking this morning. So we're going to leave the TP stop loss 25.50 for now. If I do make changes later on, I'll let you guys know. But I think at the moment, I'm going to keep it at 25.50 because it gives us a better risk to reward. And it's just a better entry altogether. So, all right, guys, other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for the next live session. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise,